how to multiply a fraction by a non-unit fraction and a non-unit fraction by a non-unit fraction. Just to remind you, a non-unit fraction, the numerator is not 1. So 2/3 would be an example of a non-unit fraction, while a unit fraction would be an example of 1/3. I know I am meeting expectations when I can accurately write a multiplication sentence from a word problem, draw a model to represent the multiplication sentence, answer the problem in a complete sentence, and write your own word problem to a given multiplication sentence and solve it. I know I am meeting expectations when I can multiply any two or more fractions together and model and teach a peer. Let's start with guided learning number 1. Nandal has 2/3 of a pan of brownies. She gives Sammy 1/2 of the remaining pan of brownies. What fraction of the pan of brownies will Sammy receive? All right, so I'm noticing that Nandal has 2/3 of the pan of brownies left. So we're going to start with a rectangle, and we're going to we'll break it up into 3 parts and shade 2 of them. Please do this on your paper as I'm doing this here. All right. So the shaded red represents how many or what fraction of the pan of brownies Nandal has left. She's going to give Sammy half of these brownies. So I'm going to use another color. Let's see, we'll do purple. So she's going to give Sammy half of the remaining brownies. So we're going to cut this in half. So this part's going to go to Sammy, and this part will go to Nandal. But remember, fractions, they all need to be equal sized pieces. So we're going to cut it all the way across, and we're going to shade the amount that Sammy's going to get. So notice that over here, where it's just purple and white behind it, there's no red shaded. That's the amount that's of the pan that Sammy's going to get, but there's no brownies here. The red represents the portion of brownies that Sammy's going to get. So we're going to look, I'm going to use green, we're going to look to see which squares, or parts I should say, have both the red to represent the amount of brownies left and the purple to represent how much Sammy's going to be getting. So we can see that there's 2 parts here that are shaded with both purple and red. So that's the amount that Sammy's going to be getting. So we have 2 parts shaded in both colors. Out of a total, we're counting all the parts that make up the rectangle. We have 6 total parts. Remember, the denominator tells us how many parts make up a whole. So we can see that 2/3, that's how much Nandal had left, times 1/2, that's the portion that she's giving Sammy, equals 2/6. Also note that here, if you multiply 2 times 1, you get 2. And if you multiply 3, 2 times, I shouldn't have put that, but just if you multiply the numerators, you get 2. And if you multiply the denominators, so 3 times 2, you get 6. So 2/6 is the correct answer. Let's try the next one. Jose has 3/4 of a pan of Rice Krispie treats. He gives 2/3 of the remaining pan of Rice Krispie treats to Whale. What fraction of the pan of Rice Krispie treats will Whale receive? All right, so Jose is starting with 3/4 of a pan of Rice Krispie treats. So we're going to break this into 4 parts because the denominator is 4. And we're going to shade 3 of them because the 3 is in the numerator. Okay, so the green shaded parts represent the fraction of Rice Krispie treats that Jose has. He's going to give 2/3 of these Rice Krispie treats to Whale. So 2/3 means that we're cutting these into thirds. So if we cut the Rice Krispie treats into 3 parts, and we're giving this portion to Whale, this portion to Whale, and then Jose is keeping this portion. Notice we have all these equal parts except for over here, which is the empty pan of brownies. We still need to portion all of these parts to be the same amount, same size. So here we see that Whale is getting 2 out of the 3 parts. So we're going to shade in orange the portion that Whale is going to be getting. So remember, the green portion represents what fraction of the pan of Rice Krispie treats is left. The orange represents how much whale is getting. So whale is going to be getting the ones that are both shaded in green and orange, which is here. We can see that 6 parts out of 12. So 3/4 times 2/3 that he's giving to whale equals 6/12. And we can also see that if you multiply the numerators, 3 times 2, you get 6. If you multiply 4 times 3, you get 12. All right, let's try to move a little quicker now. Genesis has 2 sticks of cake left after her Valentine's Day party. She brings 2/3 of the remaining cake to school. Or a fraction of the entire cake will Genesis bring to school. Start with your model. You're going to break this into 6 parts since our denominator is 6. And we're going to shade 2 of them since our numerator is 2. All right, she's bringing 2/3 of the remaining cake to school. So we're going to break this into 3 parts because our denominator is 3. We're going to say bring this to school, keep it home. So we're going to shade the 2 out of 3 parts that she's bringing to school to see what fraction of the entire pan of cake she's going to bring to school. So we're looking to see which parts are both shaded in green and in red. We can see that's right here, which is 4 parts out of 18 parts total. So 2/6, which is the amount that she had left over, times 2/3, which is the amount that she's bringing to school, we can see that if you multiply the numerators, 2 times 2 does equal 4. And here, 6 times 3 does equal 18. Last one. A bakery is selling cupcakes. 4/5 of the cupcakes are vanilla. 2/3 of the vanilla cupcakes have sprinkles on them. What fraction of the cupcakes in the store are vanilla with sprinkles? So we're going to start by drawing our model for one whole, break it into 5 parts because that's the portion of cupcakes that are vanilla. We're going to shade 4 of these parts, since the numerator is 4, to represent the amount of vanilla cupcakes there are. Now, 2/3 of these vanilla cupcakes also have sprinkles on them. So we're going to break this up into 3 parts because our denominator is 3. We're going to say this has sprinkles, this one has no sprinkles. We're going to shade the sprinkled, 2 sprinkled groups. So remember, the orange represents vanilla cupcakes and the green represents sprinkles. We're looking for the amount that has both vanilla and sprinkles. That would be right here, shaded with both green and orange. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3, 15 parts. So 4/5 times 2/3 equals 8/15. And we can check our math. 4 times 2 does equal 8, and 5 times 3 does equal 15. Go ahead, finish the rest of the packet. Make sure you both use the visual model and you write an equation with the answer.